Millions of Americans did exactly what they were told to do. They worked hard, built careers, saved money, and tried to play by the rules. Yet many now feel further away from a comfortable life than they did 10 years ago. That's why people with decent jobs, decent incomes, and perfectly normal lives are quietly leaving the country. Not because they're failing, because they're doing everything right and still feel like they're falling behind. They've found places where rent doesn't consume half their paycheck, healthcare doesn't create financial anxiety, and a middle-class income still feels like a middle-class income. One country on this list lets Americans stay for an entire year without a visa. Another has become so popular that housing prices are rising because Americans keep moving there. And the number one destination isn't the cheapest, but after seeing what it offers, you'll understand why so many Americans are choosing to start over there. I'm going to show you the 5 countries where ordinary Americans are building a completely different life. And by the end of this video, you'll know exactly which one might be right for you. I will start with country number 5, Portugal. For many Americans, Portugal feels like stepping back into a version of life that no longer exists at home. The streets feel safer, the pace feels slower, and the constant financial pressure that follows people around in the United States suddenly begins to ease. That's why Portugal continues attracting retirees, remote workers, and middle-class families looking for something increasingly difficult to find: stability. Lisbon remains the country's most popular destination, while Porto offers many of the same benefits at a lower cost. A one-bedroom apartment in Lisbon typically costs between $980 and $1,300 per month, while similar apartments in Porto often rent for $760 to $980. That's significantly less than what many Americans pay in cities like Seattle, Boston, or Austin. Groceries generally run between $220 and $270 per month, compared to $400 or more in many US cities. A monthly Metro Pass costs around $45. Private health insurance typically falls between $65 and $110, and utilities usually add another $80 to $130. Altogether, a single person can often live comfortably on $1,400 to $1,800 per month, while couples commonly spend between $2,200 and $2,800. The most popular pathway is Portugal's D7 visa, which generally requires proof of recurring income of around $850 per month from sources such as pensions, rental income, or investments. The process usually takes several months, but many Americans consider it one of the most accessible residency options in Europe. But Portugal isn't the bargain it was a few years ago. Housing in Lisbon has become increasingly competitive, prices have risen sharply, and some longtime residents blame foreign demand for changing entire neighborhoods. In fact, many expats are now skipping Lisbon altogether and heading inland in search of lower costs and a quieter lifestyle. And if Portugal's prices seem attractive, wait until you see the country where many Americans are cutting their monthly living expenses nearly in half. Number 4, Mexico. Very few Americans move to Mexico because it's been their lifelong dream. Most move because they're tired of working harder every year and feeling like they're getting less in return. What they find isn't some exotic new life. It's something much simpler: relief. Mexico feels close enough to home that the transition isn't overwhelming. You're in familiar time zones, family is only a short flight away, and in many places you'll hear enough English to get by while still experiencing a different pace of life. That's a major reason cities like Mérida, Puerto Vallarta, San Miguel de Allende, and neighborhoods like Roma Norte and Condesa continue attracting Americans year after year. The financial difference can be dramatic. In Mérida, a comfortable one-bedroom apartment often rents for between $350 and $500 per month. That's less than many Americans spend on a car payment. Groceries generally cost around $150 to $200 a month. Transportation averages about $25, and a private doctor visit often costs just $40 to $60. Private insurance typically ranges from $80 to $120 per month. Altogether, a single person can often live comfortably on $800 to $1,200 a month, while couples frequently spend between $1,400 and $2,000. Americans can usually stay for up to 180 days without residency, and those who decide to stay longer often qualify for a temporary resident visa by showing monthly income of around $1,620. But Mexico isn't perfect. Safety varies dramatically by location. Some cities feel safer than many places in the United States, while others continue to face serious security challenges. The people who thrive here are usually the ones who research specific cities and neighborhoods before making the move. Number 3. Colombia. A decade ago, many Americans wouldn't have even considered Colombia. Today, thousands are moving there. And most of them are ending up in one city, Medellin. The city is known as the City of Eternal Spring, not because of marketing, because the weather genuinely stays comfortable most of the year. No brutal winters. No months of extreme heat. For Americans living on fixed incomes, that's one less expense and one less headache. Medellin has become especially popular among retirees, remote workers, and people who simply want an urban lifestyle without urban American costs. Neighborhoods like El Poblado and Laureles have developed thriving international communities. A modern one-bedroom apartment in those areas typically rents for between $400 and $650 per month. In many US cities, that wouldn't even cover a parking space. Monthly groceries usually run between $150 and $200. A full month of metro and cable car transportation costs around $30. Private health insurance often falls between $70 and $90 monthly. Utilities generally add another $50 to $100. Altogether, a realistic monthly budget lands between $1,000 and $1,300 for a single person. Many couples live comfortably on $1,700 to $2,200 per month. Visa options are one reason Colombia keeps attracting Americans. The digital nomad visa is popular with remote workers. Retirees often choose the pensioner visa, which currently requires proof of income around $750 per month. Approval times vary, but many applicants complete the process within a few months. The downside is something many people don't realize. Colombia's pensioner visa income threshold has been gradually increasing. Several immigration professionals expect future increases as demand grows. If retirement in Colombia is part of your long-term plan, waiting several years could make qualification more difficult. Number 2. Georgia. Most Americans couldn't point to Georgia on a map. Then they arrive. And suddenly they're wondering why more people aren't talking about it. This is Georgia, the country sitting between Europe and Asia. Not Atlanta. Not Savannah. The actual country. Its capital city, Tbilisi, has quietly become one of the most attractive destinations for budget-conscious expats anywhere in the world. Part of the appeal is simplicity. No endless paperwork. No complicated residency maze. No feeling that foreigners are being tolerated rather than welcomed. Americans can legally stay in Georgia for up to 365 days without a visa. That's almost unheard of. In desirable Tbilisi neighborhoods like Vera and Vake, a one-bedroom apartment typically costs between $400 and $600 monthly. That same apartment might easily cost $2,000 or more in Washington, D.C., San Diego, or Seattle. Groceries generally range from $120 to $170 per month. Transportation costs around $15 monthly. Private health insurance often falls between $40 and $70. Utilities commonly range between $60 and $120 depending on season and apartment size. A single person can often live comfortably for $800 to $1,100 per month. A couple frequently spends between $1,400 and $1,800. The visa situation is refreshingly simple. Americans receive visa-free access for up to 1 full year. No minimum income requirement. No retirement requirement. No special application before arrival. You simply enter legally and begin your stay. But Georgia isn't all glamorous. Banking can occasionally become frustrating for foreigners. Some American debit and credit cards don't always work smoothly. Certain US banks flag transactions unexpectedly. Most experienced expats recommend arriving with multiple cards and backup access to funds. Because the last thing you want is to discover your bank thinks you're suspicious while you're standing in a grocery store in Tbilisi. And somehow, even Georgia doesn't take the top spot. One country consistently beats it when Americans compare lifestyle, healthcare, infrastructure, and long-term quality of life. Number 1. Spain. More Americans are choosing Spain than almost any other country in Europe. And once you spend time there, the reason becomes obvious. Spain offers something that many people moving abroad eventually realize they want more than cheap rent: balance. The infrastructure works. The healthcare system works. Public transportation works. The food is excellent. The weather is hard to complain about. And unlike some lower-cost destinations, you rarely feel like you're trading quality of life for affordability. That's especially true outside Madrid and Barcelona. Those cities are increasingly expensive. The better value is now found in places like Valencia, Seville, and Malaga. Malaga has become a favorite among Americans looking for a Mediterranean lifestyle without the price tag of Southern California. A one-bedroom apartment typically rents for between $650 and $930 per month. That may sound high compared to Colombia or Georgia, but compare it to San Diego, Miami, or Los Angeles, where a similar apartment can easily cost 3 times as much. Monthly groceries generally run between $240 and $310. In many US cities, that amount barely gets you through a few major supermarket trips. Public transportation usually costs around $45 per month. Private health insurance often falls between $55 and $90 monthly. Utilities typically range from $80 to $140, depending on season and location. Altogether, a realistic monthly budget for a single person lands between $1,200 and $1,600. Many couples live comfortably on $2,000 to $2,700 per month. The biggest reason Spain climbed to the top of this list is its digital nomad visa. The program launched in 2023 and quickly became one of the most attractive residency pathways in Europe. Applicants generally need to show monthly income of around $2,560. The visa is initially valid for 1 year and can be renewed for up to 5 years. For remote workers earning US-level income, the math becomes attractive rapidly. Now for the downside. That income requirement rules out a lot of retirees. Someone relying only on Social Security may not qualify without additional investment income, pension income, or remote work earnings. For some Americans, that's a deal breaker. For others, it's simply a planning problem that can be solved before making the move. And that's what makes Spain number 1. The truth is, none of these countries are perfect. Every move comes with trade-offs. But for a growing number of Americans, the bigger risk isn't moving abroad. It's staying exactly where they are and hoping things somehow get cheaper. So now I'm curious. Which of these 5 countries would you actually consider moving to, and what's the biggest thing holding you back right now? Leave a comment below. I read every one, and your story might help someone else who's facing the same decision. And if you found this video useful, take a second to support the channel. Hit the like button, subscribe, and share this video with someone who's been talking about leaving, retiring abroad, or simply finding a more affordable place to live. You never know. One video can change the direction of someone's life. And before you go, tell me this. What topic should I cover next? The best suggestion might become the next video.